pursuing the life of God through meaningful relationships that impact culture. That first line, pursuing the life of God, what this means to us is that we have decided to pursue. You know what what happens when you begin the process of pursuing something in your life, whether it be an individual or a job or a game or whatever that might be. When we pursue something, we are very focused on what we're doing. To follow is another word. Endeavor, another word. To seek is an even better word for us to use about this God. The second line, through meaningful relationships, we challenge each other. We challenge each other to connect with people in their lives. You guys have a lot of people that you know, and I've been hearing in this during this series in regards to individuals who are now sharing Life Community Church with other people in Mount Pleasant. And that third line that impacts culture, this third one is really the payload, if I could say that. If we are pursuing this God in meaningful relationships, will show forth in the journey that we are on together. The culture will live in ready for us to share the God that we are in love with. And at this time in this country, something meaningful is showing forth throughout this entire country. It's something meaningful that is showing forth from the Barna Group. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment, who had some really good news. In a survey of 2,000 U.S. adults, 44% responded this way: more open to God today than I was before the pandemic. Well, we'll never forget the pandemic. We'll never forget the year and a half that we were gone from here, and coming back was wonderful. But what was even more wonderful is after that pandemic, 44% of adults responded, we're more open to God today than we were before the pandemic. An overwhelming majority, even those who are Gen Z, 73%. Those millennials, 77%, shared that they had a deeper desire to grow spiritually. This is good stuff. And we don't want to continue to wait on it at the LCC. What we long to do is to take what God has given us and do for Him what He's called us to do. This is the best news that the church in America has had in a long time. But of course, there is always a problem, right? David Kinnaman, who is the CEO of Barna Group, shares this truth. Reports show that only 25% of Americans identify as practicing Christians, a pretty significant drop from the 43% of 2000. What's this all about, you may ask? The problem is indicative of growing a trust gap. Let me use those two words again, a trust gap. We have individuals out there that are poised to begin a spiritual life, and yet what's happened in the church? Between the spiritual individuals and organized religion, the church has real work to do, a lot of work to do, to bridge the trust gap for people, like people that God would create. You know what I'm talking about? Who are spiritual but not religious. Here's the point for all of us. There is a good and right way to live your life spiritually. And at LCC, we have found it in the name of Jesus. We came here that you and I might find life here on earth and in heaven as well. He showed us who God is throughout the Gospels, and he asked us, rethink the way you have been thinking. It's time to do that. We have been running that concept up the flagpole from the day we opened LCC. And together we will find the opportunities that are out there to say to anyone that we speak with. At LCC, we have no stones to throw. We're not working as an organized religion. We are working with these guys who long to be spiritual people. And that is something for us to see, to learn in our life.